Hello everyone, I'm Joe Ackourey, and welcome to the Fly of the Week. For this episode, episode 72, I'll be tying a Slate Drake Spinner. Like most spinner falls, Slate Drake Spinners appear above the water about an hour or so before dark, and after mating, they drift down or fly down to the surface, and the females drop their egg sac and float helplessly downstream where the trout are just sitting there gulping them up. So this offers an awesome opportunity for us fly fishermen to capitalize on that. It's another feeding opportunity, another catching opportunity for us. And the pattern I'm about to share with you is a proven pattern. It's worked wonders for me in the past, and I want to share this with you. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys, here we go. The Slate Drake Spinner. Start by placing your hook in the vise, making sure that the shank of the hook is relatively parallel with your tabletop. And the first step is determining where the wing is going to be set. So to do this, I'm going to use my thread as my indicator, like in previous episodes. I'm going to take my thread and wrap the thread to the center of the shank of the hook, like so. And then wrap back up toward the eye, half of what I just wrapped. That's where the wing is going to get set. So, for the wing material, I'm using my sparkle yarn in white. And this is literally one thickness of my sparkle yarn. So what I'm going to do is double up on it. I'm going to double up on it because I'm going to also incorporate a indicator so you can see this thing. You see this hatch, or this spinner fall, takes place in the late evening and goes into the into dark. And yeah, you can capitalize fairly easy with this fly because it's got big white wings or clear wings, but our representation has white wings, and you can see that. But even with this white wing material, it becomes very difficult to see, once it start getting dark. But the fish are still slamming these Slate Drake Spinners. So this is going to help. It's not going to solve the problem, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. But it's definitely going to help and extend your fishing opportunity or catching opportunity. So now we have two layers of this sparkle yarn, and I'm going to lay that right on top of the shank and begin to figure eight it in that sweet spot we determine where the wing should go. And just figure eight this wing 7 or 8 times, like so, and then put a couple wraps in the front of that figure eight and repeat that process behind the wing. Good. Now we're going to carefully take that second bunch that we put on top. Once we find, could be a little tricky. There we go. And once you get that, we're going to gather that and give it a little spin just to kind of lock it together and separate it from the wing. And then we're going to reorient our hook straight down. The eye of the hook is facing down instead of parallel with the tabletop. It's not perpendicular. So that exposes the wing, the post, I'm sorry. The post is now going to be our indicator. And what we're going to do is wrap thread around that indicator just so that it, holds together. And then we're going to reorient our hook. And you have something that looks just like that. We have our wings and our post. And again, right now it's exaggerated, like almost double or even triple. But we're going to leave it go for now. So now we're going to move our thread back and get ready for our tail. We're going to wrap our thread back to where the shank meets the bend a little bit more. Right there. And for the tail, we're going to use moose mane. I'm going to take about 6 or 8 fibers of this material. These are the cut ends. These are the natural ends. I'm going to take the natural ends and put it inside my hair stacker. And we're just going to even them up in the hair stacker a little bit. So let's see what we got here. Very good. Take that out of the hair stacker. And we're going to make the length of the tail equal to about a gap, and I'm sorry, the shank of the hook including the eye. And we're going to place those tails right on that spot where the shank and the bend meet. Once we anchor that with a couple of wraps, we're going to wrap that all the way up. Try not to catch too much of this wing material. You can fold it forward. It's not going to hurt anything. Good. And then just return your thread to where the shank and the bend meet. So now we have this excess moose mane. We're just going to clip that off. Okay, let's review. So we started out by finding out where we're going to set the wing, and we used our thread as our indicator, so to speak. So we wrap from the eye back to the center of the shank of the hook, and then we wrap back up half of that, and that's where our wing is going to be set. So then we made our wing and our post. We took 2 amounts of my sparkle yarn material, and we laid one on top of the next, and then we figure eighted them in that sweet spot where we determine where the wing should go. And then once the wing was set with 7 or 8 of those figure eights, and then we locked in that figure eight with a couple of wraps in the front of the wing and a couple of wraps in the back of the wing. We separated that bunch. That second layer we pulled up, and we reoriented our hook, and we made a post out of it. That's going to be our indicator. So then we took our tail material, which we were using moose mane. We stacked it. We made that approximately equal to the shank of the hook, including the eye. And we tied that in. Now, I like to segment this spinner, with a little bit lighter colored, or significantly lighter colored rod wrapping thread. It's brown rod wrapping thread, size A, and it's braided. And I'm going to attach that to the side. And it gives it a nice contrast, the light and the dark. It really brings out the segmentation like the natural. And I'm just going to attach that in there. There we go. Like so. And place the excess or the usable stuff in my material clip. Now for the body or the abdomen, we're using my Slate Drake natural fur blend, and we're going to draw out some fibers, and we're going to take our time and build a really nice abdomen here. Okay, we're ready to make our noodle, our dubbing noodle. So lay that on your thread and begin the process of creating that noodle. Nice fine noodle. These are quite a large fly. I've seen them as big as 8s on my home waters, but this is a size 10, and I'm using 8/0 thread, and this will do the trick. So we wrapped our first wrap up against the tails. Now I'm going to take my segmentation material, pick up my tail, and kick a wrap under the tail just to give it a little bit of lift. And then I'm going to proceed to build my abdomen or my body. There we go. Sneak that in there. There we go. And just slowly build the body by slightly overlapping. Also, by slightly overlapping, you create your taper. Just take that one wrap off there. There we go. Wrap that. Make your wrap your noodle right up to the wing, and then figure eight it. We're going to need some more, so we're going to put a very fine application. Okay. So there's a lot of cleaning up to do with this yet, so just be patient with yourself. And I got to trim the wings a little bit. They're way out of proportion. And the post or the indicator. This will definitely help you, see the fly a lot better toward dark. Let me just put a couple wraps in front here. And then continue with my figure 8 method here. Throw a wrap to the back. Throw it to the front. Pull them back, and that should do it. Yeah, that's looking really good. Okay, now we got our abdomen fully built, and it's looking really good. Now we're going to take the segmentation material, fan out our tail a little bit, take a wrap right on top, slightly touching the tails, and then begin wrapping up toward the eye of the hook. You can pull these wings and indicator out of the way, making relatively equally spaced wraps for your segmentation material. Almost there, guys. Okay, let's get some wraps in the front. Very good. Pulling so hard, I'm pulling the hook out of the vise. There we go. That's a little bit too tight. Okay. Now, to finish off, I always do 1, 2, lock that in. Clip off the excess. I'm going to catch a couple fibers here and there from the wings and the indicator. So I'm not really worried about it. There's enough material there. And now I can tie my knot. Okay. It's looking really good. Okay. So let's waterproof that knot with a drop of head cement. Or not. Oh, there it is. Okay. So now we got to trim these wings to proportion with the hook. And typically what I like to do is measure the shank of the hook and include the eye for each wing. So that's what I'm going to do. Boom. And it's a rough estimate, but it works. A little bit more on that one. And now for the post. Obviously, you can't leave the post or the indicator that high. You'll have some problems when you cast this. It'll twist like nobody's business. So I'm going to cut that almost in half, or just enough so you could see it. And that's exactly what we got there. Just a nice little indicator so you could see this thing a little bit better, which will increase your opportunities to catch more fish. So, guys, this fly's done. It's looking sweet. A little bit more cleaning up to do. But, yeah, I'm happy with this. There you have it. The Isonychia or Slate Drake Spinner. Great pattern. It's got an indicator on top so you could see it. And you know what? You can adapt this same method with that wing and the indicator for pretty much all your spinners that, most of your spinner falls are into the dark. So, don't be afraid to add that indicator. So I just want to thank you for joining me in this episode of the Fly of the Week. And if you like the content that I'm pushing out, please, hit the notification bell and make sure you subscribe. Thank you, guys. Tight lines.